Hey everybody, it's Colin. It's Friday night, and there's something that was on my mind that I really wanted to talk about. Surprisingly, it has to do with right conservatives and the left liberals, and it has to do with the word snowflake. You ever just get something in your eyes and you're like, oh, what is in my eyes? So, let's talk about the word snowflake. What is a snowflake? Until recently, I've always thought this was a snowflake. Just some crystallized ice that forms a pretty pattern and falls from the sky. You don't see it down here in Key West, but boy do I sure miss it from back home in Michigan. Snowflake is a term that has come into a lot more common saying, and it is typically used by Republicans or conservatives to describe liberal people who get offended rather easily when it comes to social issues or bullying or cyberbullying or people being attacked because they're different. However, it's funny because the history of the word seems to come from the old days, I guess if you could call them old days in the grand scheme of the age of the world, for people that were against the abolition of slavery. So you have one for one group of people that are easily offended. Another definition is for people that were against the abolition of slavery, and it's being thrown around a lot. I just get frustrated with it whenever I see one of my conservative friends or one of my Republican friends refer to somebody as a snowflake. I feel that is a very antagonistic phrase. I feel that is a very just, you are saying it to be mean and you're saying it to provoke a reaction. And to me, when I see those type of phrases and words, that's my mental cue that that person has lost the argument because they've gone to verbally attacking another person. Now, with that viewpoint in mind, it's very interesting to me, especially today after a thing I saw on Facebook where my instinctual thought was, wow, this snowflake is having a meltdown. I didn't say it, I didn't type it, I think I might have messaged somebody about it, but it was the first time that I really saw the point of view of the other side. I consider myself a liberal, where somebody just makes a passing comment and somebody blows it so far out of proportion that they completely miss what is actually happening. They completely just miss the statement that is being made because they took it as far as their responsibility to be offended for somebody else that has no idea what's going on with something. And this got me thinking about how we use words to describe other people. Now, this is part of the series. Yep, I'm a Christian, and I'm very well aware of the fact that you can use words to trigger responses from people, that you can use phrases to trigger an emotional response from somebody, but you're also describing them by their personality and their characteristics at the same time. I'm doing a series through Matthew, if you watch my series, What I Preached Last Week, and there's a few times that John and Christ have actually referred to the Pharisees and Sadducees as brood of vipers. This is not a compliment. This is a very direct insult against this group of people. Snakes were often very closely associated with evil, with the snake from Genesis, with just very satanic, demon-esque things, and this phrase is being used very openly and unabashedly attacking the people because of how they were viewed by John, how they were viewed by Jesus, how they were viewed by the everyday person as far as being hypocrites and liars and thieves, and they were a brood of vipers, and this was specifically because that was the best way to describe them. Jumping from this topic into the next one, our words that we use, our words that we say to describe people can be very, very hurtful. I'm a big person. I'm 6'2", over 300 pounds. I'm a big guy. I'm not easy to hide. I dyed my hair blue a while ago, so it makes me stand out even more. And in high school, I had a very long black coat. I had rings. I had necklaces. I had very black clothing and dark. I was borderline goth, except I didn't have the makeup and the face paint and whatnot. It was just me wearing black, and I dressed up like that because I thought it was fun. It helped me deal with some stuff and kind of just become the person of who I am. Wore it for a long time through most of undergrad as well. I was choosing to dress differently than what was considered the norm. Jeans, t-shirt, that's considered the norm. I chose to dress differently than what people were used to seeing in their everyday life. Now, of course, you have people that were afraid of school shootings. You have people that were afraid of the idea that someone in all black was being there and there was something wrong with them and whatnot. That's fine. But I was choosing to do it. And there was a specific time in my life where the idea of being different really registered. I was at an event. It was held at the University of Michigan. It was held at Michigan State, and it was called Boys State. Basically, a couple kids from every high school in the state were brought together, and they were to run a fictional 51st state called Boys State. Each kids were broken down into groups. Those groups would manage a city, a district, a community, whatever. But anyways, I wore my clothes there. I wore my outfit. I wore the black. I did my normal thing. And there were people that were picking on me because of it. There were people that were making fun of me because I was so different. And it hurt, you know, somebody attacking you for the way you are when you're trying to express yourself. It really does hurt. My vice principal, one of them, was the runner of this program. He was the one that was in charge of this program. So I got so fed up one time that I walked away from everybody. I walked through the middle of this award ceremony that he was going on, and I gave him a note. And I just left, went back to my room and shut the door and just ignored everyone. In the note I said, I feel like I'm being verbally attacked by the people in my city, is what they were called, with all these people together. I feel like they're going out of their way to attack me and make me feel very uncomfortable, and this is not fair, and I'm feeling very alienated. Because of this, you need to do something. Wait about an hour or so. His award ceremony ends, and the adult that was in charge of us, I can't remember what his name or role was, he says, hey, he wants to talk to you. So I go outside and talk to him, and I'm just so frustrated, and he sort of knew me just from seeing me around the high school and whatnot. So we go for a walk around the college, and he says to me, and this is the basics of the conversation, so this isn't exactly word for word, but he says, you choose to dress the way that you dress. You choose to wear the clothes you wear. You choose to act the way that you act as far as what I was doing for people to attack me, and you're choosing to do this. You're not born with a deformity. You're not born with scars. You're not born with anything that would naturally draw attention to you, but you're choosing to look different. And because you choose to look different, people are going to say things. People are going to provoke you. People are going to pick on you. People are going to whatever, but they're doing it because you are choosing to look different than the norm. And no matter how much we try to argue it, no matter how much people try to justify it, there is a relatively normal way that you see people, that people dress, there is a normality for what we consider to be civil, for what we consider to fall in the guidelines of society. And he said, because you are choosing to dress and act a little bit differently, you're going to be the target of people's phrases and sayings and snickers and smirks because you're choosing to. And there's two ways you can react to it. You can either break down and expect somebody else to handle the problem, or you can just grow thick skin. And it was the first time in my life that somebody had actually told me, you need to grow thick skin if you're going to choose to be different. And for a second, I was kind of let down. I was kind of like, well, why isn't he? So I need to do something? So I need to change something about myself? But in the rest of our conversation, you know, I realized that, yeah, he's right. Because I'm choosing to do this. I just need to grow a thick skin and just not care, because people are going to talk. And as I've grown up, I find I'm always very different in whatever setting I'm in. I'm very different than the other pastors that I know. I'm very different than a lot of the other Christians that I know. I dress very different than the people that are around me. I'm just a very different type of person. And I have just grown to whatever. People are going to talk. People are going to say things. I don't care, because I am who I am and I'm comfortable in my skin. I am who I am, and I don't care what people are going to say, because I'm always going to be me, and I'm always going to be this lovingly created child of God that I am. So I don't need to melt down like a snowflake. I don't need to be offended at the word snowflake. I don't need to be offended when people want to say, oh, there goes Colin, look at him with the stupid blue hair. Oh, there goes Colin, he's big and he's fat. Oh, there goes Colin, like his facial hair might be pointed one way in a video because he forgot to comb it straight or look in the mirror before. I don't care. Like, I have a life. I have friends. I have everything that I need. And like I said, I'm still a lovingly created child of God, and I am beautiful in all my imperfections. Let people talk. Let people say what they're going to say. Who cares? You know, the only thing that matters is that I'm true to myself, and I'm true to the God that I love and the God that I serve and the God that sacrificed himself for me. Who cares what people say or think or do? Now, because of this and because of my life, I am different, and I am choosing to follow this difference. I choose not to work on Sabbath because I believe the Bible has called and said, you're not supposed to work on Sabbath. And because I choose that, I know people are going to say stuff, but you know what? Let them, because they're going to say stuff regardless. And that's the important thing. Yes, I am a Christian, and yes, I'm going to be different, and yes, people are going to talk, and in the end, I don't care. So I don't need to be offended for other people. I don't need other people to be offended for me. I just need to be me and let everybody else worry and take care of everybody else. That's pretty much it. You know, I don't know if there's a good ending to this video, but just people need to stop being so offended so easily. Realize that there's always going to be mean people. Realize that people are always going to say things, and let them say things, and just ignore it and roll on, and stick up for the real battles, stick up for the real fights that are to come, stick up for the real issues that we're going to have, because you just can't stop people from saying things, and not everything people says needs to offend you. Share your thoughts. I'd be interested to see what you guys say back to this. I'm very interested, especially because I have an idea of a few people that are going to watch this video, so I'll catch you guys all next time on Yep, I'm a Christian.